Guardiola? Destroyed? Simeone? Outsmarted? Inter Milan? Humiliated in their own backyard? What if I told you the most terrifying team in the 2025 to 26 UEFA Champions League isn't funded by oil money, doesn't play in Europe's top 5 leagues, and is located so far north, they literally play in the Arctic Circle? Welcome to Scoreline Spark. Today, we're breaking down the ultimate football miracle. The team that went from paying its players with asterisk, donated fish asterisk, to absolutely obliterating European royalty. This is the 70 million euros phenomena of Bodø Glimt. Strap in, hit that subscribe button, and let's go. Rewind to 2010. Bodø Glimt was essentially dead. The club was on the verge of total bankruptcy. They were so broke that locals were collecting empty deposit bottles just to keep the lights on. The local handball team donated their ticket revenue, and local fishermen literally gave the club fish to sell. They operated on a microscopic 4.2 million euros budget, with just 40 people on the payroll. But let's talk about where they play, because it is literally built different. Bodø is a tiny Norwegian coastal city of just 50,000 people. Their stadium, the Aspmyra Stadium, holds just 8,000 fans. It sits squarely in the Arctic Circle, meaning the sun never sets in the summer, and it never rises in the winter. They play on artificial turf because the extreme weather makes growing grass impossible. And speaking of extreme weather training in freezing temperatures isn't a weakness. It's a physiological weapon. Cold weather training forces the heart to pump harder, maxes out caloric burn, and drastically boosts the immune system. Bodø Glimt aren't just surviving the cold, they are weaponizing it. In 2017, the club was relegated to the Norwegian 2nd Division. They needed a reset. So, what did they do? They hired a literal Royal Norwegian Air Force fighter pilot. Bjørn Mannsverk wasn't brought in to scream at them like a drill sergeant. He was hired as a mental training specialist to help players manage extreme stress and build a bulletproof mindset. Then, in 2018, Kjetil Knutsen took over as manager. Knutsen didn't care about surviving. He wanted to dominate. He built a relentless 4-3-3 system focused on a single pivot, high-tempo possession, and rapid offensive transitions. They don't just run blindly. Recent sports science proves that the most successful Champions League teams actually jog asterisk, less asterisk, and sprint asterisk more asterisk. Bodø Glimt embodies this to perfection. They play at a terrifyingly high game pace, built on high-intensity sprinting that breaks down opponents. Fast forward to the 2025-26 Champions League. Europe's elite came to the Arctic, and they got iced. First up, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. City has been bleeding goals recently, suffering from massive defensive transition issues and a high line that gets completely exposed. Knutsen smelled blood. He shifted into a compact 4-4-2 block, forced City out wide, and then hit them with blistering counterattacks. Kasper Høgh scored twice in rapid succession, exploiting City's chaotic defending. And Jens Petter Hogh launched a long-range rocket to make it 3-1. It was so humiliating that Man City players actually refunded the tickets of their traveling fans. Next, Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid, a team known for the dark arts. Bodø Glimt didn't flinch. Using an aggressive 4-1-3-2 high press, they suffocated Atletico's build-up and snatched a 2-1 victory. But surely, the fairy tale had to end in the knockout playoffs, right? They drew Inter Milan. Inter was sitting 10 points clear at the top of Serie A and hadn't lost since November 23rd. Oh, and did I mention Bodø Glimt's domestic season ended on November 30th? They were officially in their off-season. They hadn't played a real domestic match in months. But instead of getting rusty, they went through a winter reset. Their defense turned into a brick wall. Since December, their expected goals against plummeted. Their tackles went up 24%, and clearances spiked by 50%. In the first leg at home, Bodø won 3-1. Kasper Høgh was an absolute monster, grabbing a goal and 2 assists. Then, they traveled to the legendary San Siro for the second leg. Inter's manager, Kjetil, looked completely shell-shocked. Bodø Glimt played a fluid 1-4-3-3, utilizing clever channel runs to pull Inter's center-backs out of position. They won 2-1 on the night, destroying Inter 5-2 on aggregate. Even Italian media called it a total embarrassment for Inter. If anyone thought the Inter win was a fluke, the round of 16 silenced the doubters forever. On March 11th, Bodø Glimt welcomed Portuguese giants Sporting CP to the Arctic. Sporting tried to press early, but Knutsen's squad bypassed them using brilliant short switches of play to find their far-side fullbacks. Sondre Effet buried a penalty in the 32nd minute. Right before halftime, old Didrik Blomberg slotted it into the bottom corner. And in the 71st minute, Kasper Høgh now has 5 Champions League goals this season settled the tie. Final score? 3-0. Bodø Glimt racked up 2.46 expected goals to Sporting's pathetic 0.51. Let this sink in. Bodø Glimt is now only the 5th team from outside Europe's top 5 leagues to win 5 consecutive games in the Champions League. This isn't a Cinderella story anymore. This is a tactical revolution. They maintain a strict wage structure, reinvest their money smartly, and are now building a €100 million state-of-the-art stadium. They ensure 35% of their minutes go to local players, keeping their fierce regional identity alive. They have transformed from a bankrupt club begging for fish into a €70 million European powerhouse. With the quarterfinals in sight, the entire continent is asking one question. Can anyone stop the kings of the Arctic? What do you think? Will Bodø Glimt go all the way to Budapest for the Champions League final? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you loved this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe to Scoreline Spark, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Until next time, keep the spark alive.